Welcome to From Heartache to Healing and Hope with your host, Bernadette Winters Bell, LMSW. This podcast explores the many layers of life through the lens of loss and grief, often with special guests who share their perspectives on this universal yet unique process. These explorations can offer you, the listener, avenues to encourage you to have these conversations with yourself, your family, your community, your world.
Hello, I'm Bernadette Winters Bell, your host of the podcast From Heartache to Healing and Hope. Whoa, wait do you see what I have in store for you today. Marc Renson. He's a chef and an owner of a bistro and an author and so many things. He's so interesting. Want to learn about boozy muffins, bread pudding muffins? Oh yeah, You're going to hear all about it on From Heartache to Healing and Hope. This series, same storm, different boats, paddling away with Marc. Oh, this will be so interesting. See you there. Welcome. I'm Bernadette Winters Bell, your host of the podcast From Heartache to Healing and Hope. And if I got a special guest for you, Marc, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you today? Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So since you know yourself best of anyone here in this podcast, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience today?
Okay, how do I start there? Well, my name is Marc Renson. I am an entrepreneur. I'm an artist. I'm an author. And I'm just an all-around great guy.
If you do say so yourself. Love it.
Myself. Exactly.
Wonderful. So you live in upstate New York. You're north and east of where I am here,
Yes.
in Oneonta. You're in Schenectady?
Yes, we are. Yep.
Wonderful. Have you always been from this area?
Well, no, the long story is I grew up in New Jersey and my father passed away and mom says you're going to a culinary school. And that was here in Schenectady. So mom shipped me up to Schenectady County Community College and I got my culinary arts degree there in Schenectady. So that's how I found Schenectady.
And was cooking your passion?
Cooking has always been my passion, yes. And my mom was the one who recognized it first, and that's why she's like, "You're going to college for cooking." So I was like, "Okay." So yeah.
Terrific. And I guess you decided to stay in Schenectady. Did you work for other restaurants? How did that process go?
Yeah. Well, I graduated in '92. And then I bounced all around the whole entire East Coast. I worked in Connecticut and Kentucky. I know that's not the East Coast, but New Jersey, all the way down to Florida. And just got all the experience I can get. I worked everywhere from mom and pop restaurants to the Marriott to these major chains and 4-star restaurants. And I did everything from bussing tables to being their head restaurant chef. So I just gained all this experience from '92. And then we opened the restaurant in 2000, which was 8 years of just running around and learning.
Oh, I read on your website the backstory of your restaurant. If you just share that with the audience, it's so interesting.
Well, yeah, Ambition is, yeah. Well, Ambition isn't just a restaurant, A lot of restaurants are just businesses, and Ambition is not just a business. It's not just a restaurant. It's my soul. And how do you describe a soul? And you can't. They're unique. They're creative. And when you walk in Ambition, it's unlike any place you've ever been. You just walk in, you're someplace different. And I don't know. That's the best way to describe Ambition.
Love it. Even the building that you're in.
Yeah.
It has such an interesting story. I was reading about black boots and thought, that would get me into the restaurant. It might scare others, but I thought that was good. So why don't you share about black boots? I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah. Well, when we bought the restaurant in 2000, the old owners told us that there's a spirit in the building, and we're like, yeah, whatever, And I'm inquisitive, so I put it in the back of my mind, about 3 years into the restaurant, we're cleaning out the upstairs. And one of the rumors I once heard was there was gambling in the building and there was prostitution in the building. So as I'm upstairs, I'm finding all these poker chips and cards. And it's the third floor. It's completely hidden. It's not just, someplace that's easily accessed. And then up there was a corset. I'm like, these are weird things to find, especially after I've been told, that this house used to be a prostitution and a gambling parlor.
Right.
So in the process of doing that, I think by cleaning up the upstairs, I woke somebody up. And
Got the energy moving.
myself and my employees, we would all see black boots. These black boots would either be walking down the steps, or you open the door and there'd be just a pair of black boots. They'd be there for a second, and then they're gone. You have to ask yourself, did I really see that? But
Right.
then after you see it, and after somebody else sees it, and then somebody else sees it, you're all not just seeing things. You've all seen these boots. So we call the spirit in the house Black Boots. And I believe he's the original owner of the building. The building was erected in 1870. His name is Asbury B. Christian. And I believe that this is who is in the building. So that's why we named them Black Boots.
And apparently he's still around. So
He's still, yeah.
do you think he's enjoying your cooking?
I think he enjoys me. I think he's the one who found me and says, come on in and run this restaurant.
Ah,
I don't know how many other restaurants can survive what Ambition has survived if I'm not getting heavenly divine wisdom.
wow.
And
So when you opened it, was it a full restaurant?
it was a full restaurant. It's always been a full restaurant. And in fact, in 1870, when the building was erected, GE, General Electric, was in its heyday in like 1904. And in this
Right.
building that we're in was 24 hours, 7 days a week. It was open, never closed.
Wow.
That's another part of the history of the building. It's just so old. It's like a lot of your restaurants down in, well, you're not in New York, but like New York, it just,
Yeah, down diners and other places that are 24/7. Absolutely.
yes,
Wow.
Schenectady was bustling in its heyday.
Mm. So the menu that you developed early on, what did it look like, or what did it favor?
Well, you know what? The funny thing is I've tried to change the menu over years. And the problem is people always ask for all the old stuff. So I still have some original sandwiches that have been on the menu for almost 20, April is going to be 21 years. For 21 years, I've had these sandwiches on the menu that I just can't get rid of because people always ask for them. 21 years later, our original customers are still around and they're still asking for these. My menu mostly is vegetarian and poultry. And the reason why that is because I'm allergic to seafood. We do have a lox on the menu and we do have crab cakes, but other than that, there's really no seafood because I'm the chef. I'm the one who's handling the food. I can't handle seafood without major allergic reactions. So mostly everything is vegetarian and chicken, which kind of put us in a healthier category than most restaurants that have fryer laters, because we don't have a fryer, that have fryer laters, that have, all these, shall I say, quote, quote, unhealthy foods. So,
Right.
And very, very early on, we were dubbed as a healthy cafe. And just because I was allergic to seafood.
Wow. Well, sure. When you hear restaurant, it doesn't have a fryer. It's like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Or don't serve pizza either.
God, you don't
Yeah.
have wings and pizza? What kind of place are you, Mark?
Exactly. What do you do? What do you do?
Wow. So what's kept, besides your excellent energy, what's kept the business going all these years?
Divine intervention. I love food, music, and Hollywood. And when I was younger, if I had more confidence in myself, I would be a Bruce Springsteen. But I didn't have the confidence, so I went into food business like my mom directed me to. And in doing that, I've invited my passion into this restaurant, and I don't know how the universe works that way, but I feed entertainers. They come out of the woodworks and they find me at Ambition. Everybody. It's an amazing life. And I always say, if you have a purpose, you can't run from it. And I tried to run from my purpose, but it found me. So that purpose is probably what kept the Ambition going all these years. People just love the excitement of the restaurant. These entertainers who come in keep the excitement building because, hey, did you see Bradley Cooper? Hey, did you see Ryan Gosling?
Right.
Hey, did you see Bethany Frankel? Hey, did you see this one, that one, this one? And people love that. So that's one of the biggest excitements of the restaurant is who you're going to see in there.
Wow. And generally, besides your great bistro, what else would bring them to Schenectady, do you think?
Wow, you know what? We have a big college in town. It's not a big college, but it's Union College, and it's a pretty substantial sized college. They're almost an Ivy League. They're not. We have Proctor's Theater, which is a beautiful vaudeville theater that traveling Broadway shows come in.
Mhm.
We just recently got a casino, Schenectady. There's a couple of museums. We have a beautiful My-Side Museum. We have a beautiful cemetery. And then there's two neighborhoods. One's called the GE plot, which is where all the early engineers of GE
Wow.
built these houses. There's 76 houses in this plot. Actually, that's where we're living right now. We live in one of the houses in the GE plot. And then there's another area called the Stockade, and the Stockade was built in 1790, and they're all really beautiful little buildings that people like to walk around that neighborhood also. So
Nice.
those are probably the key things to look at when you come to Schenectady.
Absolutely. And Proctor Theater is, a magnificent building in and of its own, right?
Yeah. So you know of it?
Oh, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. Yep.
You're not all that far from me. So we
Okay.
travel, well, when we could travel. So your restaurant's going, you've obviously become a big part of the community, and music is part of what you do. Do you have music there at the end at the restaurant?
Other than my piped in Spotify, no, we don't have music in there. We used to have music in there in the early day, but then I got whacked with too many fees and fines with HASCAP and BMI, and it's just, to me, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't doing what I wanted to do it, and then I realized I don't want to work nights. I don't want to be here till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
One of the reasons why my husband and I bought this restaurant in this downtown area is because we wanted a quasi normal life, and our restaurant is open 8 to 3. And in the earlier days, we stayed open till like 6 and 7 or 9 on Thursday nights. But we got rid of all the night stuff, and now we just do 8 to 3, 7 days a week.
Beautiful. 7 days a week. Wow.
Yeah.
But
So
you have your nights. That's lovely. So
yeah.
it's going along. You're combining your different passions.
Yep.
Obviously, a success in the community. And then we come to about a year ago.
Oh yeah.
And it's become known to me, Mark, that after World War I, because of course communication was so different and limited then, when people saw each other after the war ended, they would ask, "How was your war?" to have a sense of how it went for them. So I ask you, Mark, how has your pandemic been?
Well, you know what? It's again, divine intervention. Just before the pandemic hit, I make bread pudding at the restaurant. I've made it for 20 years. It's been an automatic success. People loved it from the first day I made it, and sell pans and pans and pans and pans of it. So a week before the pandemic hit, I'm thinking to myself, okay, and I talk to my higher self, I listen to it, and most people's inspiration comes from themselves, and you just have to learn to listen to yourself and listen to that inner voice that tells you what to do. So I'm thinking to myself, what should I do? And this inner voice said to me, put Bailey's in your bread pudding mix. So I put Bailey's in my bread pudding mix, and I made muffins out of them. And usually I make a pan, but this time I made little muffins, put a little icing on top of it, and they were cute and they were adorable. And it was an overnight total chaos success. People went wild over it. And then the pandemic hit. And then people were bored. They were online, and they wanted comfort. So people started buying these muffins and shipping them all over the country. I mean, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, all over. It was just thousands and thousands of muffins. My little restaurant, every day we're making 9, 10 dozen muffins every single day through this pandemic. So that's that's my work. It's just.
Was it ever an issue to get that much Baileys? I mean, my God, you were making a lot of muffins.
Getting the Baileys was never the issue. Sometimes I ran out of Baileys. That was the issue. So was whatever I could find, hard rolls, Kaiser rolls, whatever I could get my hands on.
Oh, right, for the bread. Wow.
Yeah, these bread puddings is really what the issue was. How do I find more bread? So, yeah.
Maybe hook into all those people that were making sourdough. I understand lots and lots of people were doing that.
Exactly. And ironically, just today, we are in the Times Union, the Albany Times Union, and it's saying eatery toughing it out with muffins. So we just got written up in the article about how we fought, and that's just today.
Wow. Yeah. Well, talking about higher intervention here, right? Exactly. Yeah. Wow, that's terrific. So did the restaurant close, but you were there making muffins and shipping them out? Is that how it went?
Yeah, well, the restaurant was never closed, but we just couldn't do indoor dining. So everything was takeout only. So people were able to come in the restaurant if they felt comfortable. They sat there, waited there for their food, and then they left. Right. So that's how we operated for those. Let's see, we shut down in March, and we were able to open back up again. I think it was June. I forgot now. March, April, May, June. Yeah, I think it was 3 months we were completely shut down for.
Wow. Yeah, we here in upstate New York, we've been blessed, luckier than a lot of different areas.
Yes.
As far as numbers and yeah, sure. Yes. Absolutely. Wow. So are you at like 50% capacity now in the restaurant?
Yes, the restaurant has been 50% capacity. We were able to serve outdoor dining all through, of course, the spring, the summer, and the fall. I was not going to invest in heaters. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was dumb to sit out there in 20-degree weather with snow around you, feeding these heaters with gas. It's like, to me, the expense of buying them, the expense of buying the gas, it's not worth it for the 1 or 2 tables that want to sit outside in freezing snow, 20 degrees, just to eat a meal. So I know some restaurants have bought that, but Ambition didn't. So when the cold weather came, we just went back inside with 50%, and people are really good about it. You have the few that come in and think they don't have to wear a mask. So, but you'll get them everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, how has it been for you personally going through this pandemic?
Well, I've been faced with a lot of challenges. First of all, my husband had to go through heart surgery, and his surgery was supposed to be in February, but then COVID hit. So then he put it off to March, then he put it off to April, then he put it off to June. Then they finally said, okay, July, let's do this in July. So we brought him down to Mount Sinai, which is in New York City. And so he's the one who did all the work. I didn't have to go through the surgery. I just had to care for him after it got done. So going through this pandemic, I had to be very careful, because now his immune system was compromised. Sure. So here I am running a restaurant. I am seeing everybody every single day, Right. So that was very challenging for me to get through that. And I think just another part of it, like with everyone else, is just being away, just not being able to hug your mom or, see your sisters, or it was very emotional. So one thing I did also is, because of our love for Key Largo, I decorated our front porch Key Largo style. I have all these colors and plants and all that good stuff. And our local paper said, what are you doing during the pandemic? So I said, I decorated my porch like Key Largo. Then they said, oh, can we come and take pictures of it? So I was featured in the Gazette, our newspaper, for having a Key Largo front porch and what I did through COVID. And it's true. Every time I would go out to the front porch, I would yell to Greg, I'm going to Key Largo. So I'm stuck in Schenectady, but I still got Key Largo.
And once we address how we can keep our sense of humor and our balance during these times, like you were saying before, there's always going to be difficulties.
Yes.
How you address them and respond to them is important. You know,
Correct.
just when you were saying that Greg's surgery kept getting postponed, and I'm thinking, how is heart surgery elective surgery that they don't just do, you know?
Yes.
But then again, New York City was inundated with so many cases. So
Correct.
yeah, how is he now?
Oh, he's fantastic. You know, he had a couple of hiccups. But overall, he's charged right out of it. He's strong, and yeah, he's doing very well. So thank you.
Oh, terrific. I'm so glad to hear. Wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, and through the whole process, of course, we applied for our PPP note, which we received. And the PPP note was fantastic, but like all businesses who received them, it was great, but it wasn't enough. So, you know, thank God again, these muffins that just came charging right in, and woo, you know, amen, amen. You know,
Wow. Are you still, I guess you're still doing the muffins if you were in the
yeah,
paper today.
yeah, we are. Yeah.
Now you've got me salivating for the muffins.
They're delicious. We dubbed them the boozy muffins. And there's Bailey's, there's Kahlua Espresso, there's Pina Colada, there's Limoncello, there's Blueberry Bourbon, there's the Jack Daniel's Chocolate Pecan. Just people have gone nuts over them, and they
Wonderful that it expanded like that.
Yeah,
from
it did,
starting
yeah.
with a bread pudding, right?
a Bailey's bread pudding muffin to this. Yes.
I just love it. So as you're going forward, what gives you hope for the future?
I just want continued success, you know. But here's one thing I'm working on. I'm a published author, and I wrote a book, my first book. It's called "Is the Coffee Fresh?" and it's about my restaurant. It's about confessions of drama, dysfunction, and daily life at a downtown coffee house.
I was going to say, I love the whole title.
All the chaos I would see on a daily basis, I put in this book, and it talks about me feeding entertainers and all this good stuff. But I'm writing a second book, and it's called "How Will I Know?" It's about a man who falls on hard times and begs and pleads and meets his guardian angel, and his guardian angel is Whitney Houston. Now, I'm in the process of trying to contact Pat Houston, who is the head of the estate,
Right.
and to get her permission to let me use Whitney in the book. So that's where I'm at right now. The book is done, but now I'm waiting on her permission. So if I can get her permission to do it, then it's a go. But that's my next hopeful project.
As soon as you're talking about it, I'm thinking It's a Wonderful Life in Clarence, you know, who's learning his things. Yes.
Yeah, you got Whitney Houston saying, "How will I know?" You know, one of the most beautiful things about the book is as you're reading the book and Whitney pops in as the guardian angel, you feel like she's still alive. And we all love our celebrities and entertainers, and we all miss Whitney. We all miss Michael Jackson and Elvis. But reading this book makes you feel like Whitney is still here with us. And that's one of the most beautiful things about it, because we all miss her. We all, you know, she had her troubles just like we all do. You know, we're all human. But everybody loves Whitney for this America's sweetheart that she was.
And so what you're bringing forward, what I'm hearing is that to remind people or let them know that that spirit of her is still here in her music and in her life's journey, you know, and all of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty hopeful. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
So, come on, Pat Houston, come on.
Well, if she's listening, Pat, I think this would be a great idea.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So I know people are going to ask me this, so let's get this info out there. How do they buy the muffins, Mark?
Well, we are old school at Ambition, so they have to call the restaurant, which is 518-382-9277. Of course, we are in Schenectady, New York. The address is 154 J Street, Schenectady, New York, 12305. The restaurant, of course, is called Ambition. That's it. We do have a Facebook page. People have ordered through the Facebook page, which of course I'm the one who handles that. So whenever I get an order, I make sure it's done. There are no other people that I hire to take care of this stuff for me. So if you're calling, you're either getting me or our employees. You're not getting some telemarketer. If you go to the website, I don't think you can do it through the website. Our website is very accurate, but I don't think you can order through the website. But yeah, Facebook.
And the
Give us a call.
Facebook page is called Ambition
And,
Bistro.
I think it's Ambition Coffee and Eatery. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and we're gonna make sure that we put that information up when we launch this interview.
Awesome.
For sure,
Awesome.
because I want people to come and get your muffins or have them
Boozy,
shipped.
Get some boozy muffins.
Boozy muffin, I love it. Let's go to Key Largo and eat some boozy muffins. Love it. Wonderful. Oh, I can't wait to launch this interview, Mark. Your
Awesome.
energy and spirit will be hopeful to people.
Awesome.
Right? And that I'm sure there's some more than hiccups in the past here that you've
Yes.
overcome. I sense that from you, but that's not what you wanted to share with us or give out. No, you said this was hard, but we did this.
Correct.
Black Boots is here and we're still here. Greg had this operation and yet we're still here. That is absolutely wonderful. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Well, what I say to people is, I'll hold the hope for you until you can hold it for yourself. And that's kind of what you're offering for people. You're offering the hope, whether it's through your smile, your spirit, your muffins, your eatery, you're offering that also. So I say thank you to a kindred spirit.
Well, thank you very much. That was very kind, and I really appreciate that. It's really special. And I got a little glassy-eyed when you were speaking to me. So, very kind. Your kindness came through. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so today, in this part of the series of my podcast, called Same Storm, Different Boats, I'm paddling away with Mark, and I can't wait to share this with everyone. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Mark.
You're welcome very much. Mwah.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Great job, guys. Okay. I forgot to tell you at the beginning that after I say goodbye, we have to just stare at each other until Petrus says we're good. No, we're good. We're good now. Wonderful. Terrific. That was great. Thank you. Good.
You're welcome.
Did you get out the message that you wanted to say to people?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I got the restaurant in there. I got the book in there. I got that we're in the paper. I got the boozy muffins. And my new project, How Will I Know? Please, please, please.
There we go. It'll come to you when it's ready to come to you. Wonderful.
It will. It will. 100%. I believe that. And I believe that I already see the book done. And that's what they say about manifesting. You got to see the finished product. I already see the book being done. So it's going to get done.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, I can tell you now, you're going to see myself and probably my husband come up and be at the restaurant.